Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. This is something I don't do a lot of, and you're definitely seeing a lot more of me. And I'll tell you a secret, I'm barefoot. Alright, well I'm one of those finite collectors, the person that says I know what I want and I'm gonna get it. So when I get a new action figure, I generally just open it and throw it on the shelf. I'm about 98.5% complete of everything I want. And then sometimes something comes out and I say, oh, I gotta have it. And this one was special. So special that I want to do a reveal and a review on it. So, I'm Victor, and straight out of the Gen Experience, the Masters of the Universe Origins Fright Zone. Now, I had made the spot on the shelf for the Fright Zone right here, this little hole. And I thought, yeah, that'll be perfect. It's a smaller playset. And then I got this. Yeah, this box right here. It's huge. Now, I understand that the playset isn't going to be this big, nor is it going to be this thin. But I was pretty certain that this was not going to be enough room. And if that was the case, these Joes are going to just have to move right over. But for now, I just want to get this out of the box, highlight the beautiful artwork and the features of the box, but really open it up, show you all the pieces, get it put together, finally give a review on the entire piece at the end, and then we'll see if it fits. Let's go ahead and get it out of the package. Oh, there it goes. All right, so what fascinated a lot of us, especially as kids, was the artwork that Masters of the Universe had on all their packaging. Sometimes it was the card back art of the action figures, but on the playsets, the vehicles, and the beasts, you had this gorgeous, deep, painted artwork of a world beyond our imagination. And let's be serious, a lot of times it was this artwork that simply got us so inspired. We really wanted to know what was going on, and the artwork delivered, and it was gorgeous, very deep. You could really look through all the details. So let's look at the details of this one. Because in the honor of the original Masters of the Universe, the Fright Zone comes with a beautiful piece of artwork, and it comes showing a lot of the characters, including some concept art of some of them. The conceptual artwork for Buzz-Off, he is inside the jail cell. The conceptual artwork for Skeletor and He-Man and their battle armor are also depicted along with other characters. But what I love about it so much is like it extends to the sides. You see Mantenna blasting his eye beams, and it goes around to where Triclops is also battling him on the side at the same time. When you go to the other, you get a deeper understanding of the entire world building, and there it is, the Slime Pit, another Horde playset, and a frustrating eye-rolling one for moms and dads who had to clean up the slime. So this gorgeous piece of artwork depicts the what you're going to see inside and tells us, oh, that is what we want, that is what we're going to get. But there's more, because on the top, you get to see a lot of the features, the highlights, the tree, the jail cell, the trap, and then finally on the back, beautifully recreated as the best they could, are all of the action figures in real life, 3D, and it's just using the action figures and the physical playset to recreate the artwork on the front. A great way to sell this, and it certainly is something that I appreciate when getting a new toy like this. All right, I said we were going to open this baby and see what's inside.
They always say have the right tools for the job. I already failed. The original Fright Zone was released in 1985 as part of the Masters of the Universe line like the rest of the evil Horde, although those characters were the heavies for the She-Ra animated series. I was shocked it didn't all fall out when I did this, like when I reviewed my Castle Grayskull some years back, but the pieces were packed efficiently and with all their fearsomeness. To see the Fright Zone in the Princess of Power cartoon was a surprise to say the least. There was none of the epic fantasy aesthetic, but a grand industrial factory fitting for that show. As viewers and fans, we longed to see this dangerous and foreboding location while watching the series, but it would fit better on Eternia in the world of He-Man and Skeletor. Perhaps this Fright Zone could have appeared as like a summer house, where Hordak went to get away from it all. The pieces are easy to handle and easy to assemble, just like we remember from vintage toys. There are 2 paper packages with accessories like weapons, tree limbs, and crows. Finally, the included instructions and the dragon creature. At least that's what I'm calling it. Time to clear a space for construction. I was thrilled to see the tree has an articulated mouth. I was wondering about that. Anyone else reminded of the trees from Snow White or Wizard of Oz? These are the cornerstone pieces. Literally, they're the main pieces that fit together nicely and are secured with plastic bolts, just like a door in your house. The outer landscape at the base of the rock face snaps in easily, and you can see the familiar scene starting to take shape. The tree on the top is next, but first the articulated root gets secured before pressing the tree into place. You might notice that the center hinge of the whole thing isn't snug, and the tree is just not flush with the base. I noticed this in only one other place. Now the branches all move, and that hole in his head will get filled with an extra branch later. The prisoner cell snaps together as you would expect, so the door seamlessly swings open and snaps shut. Just fit it in place. Not there. That's it, under the Hordak carving. The jaws of life are front and center and the largest difference from the original playset, and they really stand out, but more on those in a minute. There are floor pieces like Castle Grayskull to snap in the back. Yes, I was being cautious of how much pressure I was using so not to snap anything off. The second piece is a dirt ramp to some sort of hellmouth. Take note of the subtle fanged skeletal face molded in the brimstone as you pass. Here's where I was more foolish than usual. I always read instructions, and yet I failed to notice that Hordak's throne should have been attached to the tree before I snapped it in. Once the tree's in, good luck getting it out, so don't risk breaking the tabs. My struggle was real, so I just left it there for a moment. How janky is that, am I right? It isn't Masters of the Universe without a weapons rack. 3 weapons all in red are included, even the cumbersome and ineffective crossbow. Finally, the giant lizard, the 6-legged dinosaur dragon thing. At least he's not a snake or a hand puppet this time, and he can be posed looking out from the cave entrance. The cell fits a standard size action figure. Adam will do, for his crimes against fashion. Super excited that I could actually have the tree eat someone, kinda like when Robbie was being eaten by the tree in Poltergeist. Tonight this tree is feasting on fish. Let's talk the elephant in the room. Or should I say bear? Bear trap, that is. You shove a figure down into it and the trap goes off, severing an entire leg. And now the transformation. Yes, you've seen it hinted at, but this playset is a transformer. Not as smooth as Rock-On or Stone-Dar, but with a quick change from outside to inside, well, relatively quick. The action can jump from an exterior shot to an interior, whatever your script calls for, or however you want to display your figures on this exciting diorama. Here, in a great addition to the original, Hordak has a throne. He can rule over his domain, his little miniature domain, from behind the twisted and tortured tree. In a well-planned design, there is a gap between the throne seat and the back of the chair for Hordak's cape to slip in. At least I thought it was a well-planned design element. If not, then a happy accident that works well. The cell pops back in on this reverse side identically to how it did on the front, if you could manage it better than I can. And here you have a completely new viewpoint. Let's add the finishing touches, including Rio Blast bungling into that bear trap again, and Tila gets herself stuck in what appears to be the zone's indoor plumbing. Or maybe that's a ladder to look out the barred windows. Whatever works for you. By the looks of things, my plan on the toy shelf isn't going to work. So I'll have to find a plan B. You can even spin it around for a different view of the exterior, but that's just ugly. The articulation of this dino dragon reptile is awesome. Legs, ankles, neck, and jaw movement that rival even the big cats. So here it is. But let's not wait for the full tour with all the appropriate accoutrements added for effect. Let's go. The seam between the landscape and the rockwork sides isn't as tight as I'd like it at this point, but I'll keep trying. Still, it's imposing enough and larger than I thought for sure. I guess I could have looked up the dimensions beforehand, huh? The mold is well crafted and the color is dynamic. Just like the original, this playset hints at the history and adventures that have taken place here, but still leaves your imagination to fill in the gaps of what stories are yet to be told. The throne behind the old tree is a great addition, but frankly, the entire interior is a level up from the original as there was not much there to begin with. The techno-organic detail on the back of the tree limbs were of particular interest for me, as nothing says Masters of the Universe like swords, sorcery, and science fiction. The whole thing smashes until you come to this. Yeah, the directions are so bold to call this a secret entrance. For who? I suppose Tila could crawl through, but we can see what's happened to her. Even if Adam could manage to crawl through, this would be his fate. For now. However will he get out of this? The playset is beautifully done, as expected. The only thing I can say is what everyone else wants to do, be an armchair playset designer. I would have loved to seen just a little more increase in depth, enough to add a trapdoor on the top to fall into that cell. Yeah, I know it wasn't part of the original, but still. And then maybe a secret entrance that's actually usable. But none of this matters. Those were wish list items. This thing is frightening and works perfect for the line and for my toy shelf. The sculpt is what I hoped for, and the play value has been extended with 360-degree excitement. It's gorgeous from either view, but which view will I display? Well, that was a rush. I just made that in one day. I hope you had as much fun watching it as I did creating it. This was a bit different, I know, but let's be real. I wanted to tear into this box as soon as it arrived at my door yesterday. You might have noticed in the very corner of the box a little honor for She-Ra sticker. She turns 40 this year, so Hordak's home base is fitting. It's also a good reminder that anything worth rebooting, remaking, and remembering probably came out during the Gen experience. The birth of Masters of the Universe and thousands of other memorable ideas, events, trends, and memories that will live much longer than any of us. That's why we aren't just talking about the Fright Zone, but it's available once more. Maybe at just under $100 a pop, it's no longer for general retail, but for those who appreciate it and always wanted one of their own. Thanks for stopping by. Please click that like and subscribe for other great content from the greatest era ever. And until next time.